We're back with Bishop Efraim Tendero, who is the General Secretary for the World Evangelical Alliance. That means he's taking care of an umbrella of 600 million followers of Jesus. My tradition would fall under that umbrella. And Bishop, of course, it's an honor to have you with us.
Thank you, Lorna. Mm-hmm.
We have been so branded as this particular part of the church as being politically active. And here you are as our bishop. Mm-hmm. You've advised five presidents in the Philippines. President Ramos was the last, right?
Well, it started with President Aquino, President Ramos, President Estrada, President Arroyo, and the last is President Aquino.
Okay, you have had just about everything from great to bad,
yes.
to in between there,
yes.
the Asian financial crisis, all of those things. Why? Why does a man of the cloth, a clergyman, get engaged with politics?
Well, they say there is the separation of church and state, and that is true. But you cannot separate the state from God. And therefore, it's important that as evangelicals and as religious leaders, we also get engaged in the political engagement, not in running the affairs of the government, not in running into the position, but being able to be the salt and light, to be able to give the moral perspective and the guidance from the scripture to help the people who are in authority.
Because the state is people,
yes.
Government is a structure.
Yes.
So we don't want government power, but we want to be caring for people?
Yes, because as citizens of the land, you cannot say that as citizens you are not engaged in the day-to-day living and we are supposed to be able to help the government. Number one, we are called to pray for the government. So the pastoral role and the caring role is there. But then we need to so the pastoral and the priestly role to pray for the government. Then we also have the prophetic role, that we have to speak about the standards and the values from the perspective of God in terms of how to make sure that our government will have the social and justice issues that will be addressed properly.
You've been involved in peacemaking. In Mindanao, with Muslim, Christian factions, with a government handling those things. It stretches all areas of the state.
Yes, because I like to use like the four legs of the chair. You know, if you want to have a stable chair, you need to have that four legs. And there are four leaders in the community that needs to have an interaction and interplay. You have the government because they have the laws and the structure. Then you have the business because they have the funds and capital. Then you have the non-government organizations because they have the expertise as well as the kind of wherewithal to provide to talk on issues. But then you have the religious that has the moral suasion and the host of volunteers that are distributed to be able to come and help. Many times the problem is some Christians think that they can just do it alone and just be on a one-legged chair. No, we need to interact with the other three legs of the government, the business society, the non-government organizations, and the religious working together for the good of the community.
I want to show you a way that I think we saw that happen here. And that was a few years ago when we worked together with your country on the typhoon, all right? An incredible, loss.
Yeah, I remember that. That's Typhoon Haiyan back in 2013.
Largest typhoon that history has recorded, right? And so we came together as Christians here in Canada, and we got involved with over 27,000 households in bringing aid through your Assemblies of God, one of our evangelical churches.
Yes.
What does that mean when countries work together like that on a crisis?
You see, Typhoon Haiyan, the strongest typhoon that hit this planet at 300 kilometers per hour, devastated about 25,000 square kilometers of area. We do not have the resources to handle all of that. And therefore, the coming in of international partners, the coming in of many volunteers who come, and the sacrificial giving of many.
Yeah, these were Huntley Street givers that gave to Typhoon Haiyan victims.
So it's like extending a lifeline to them in the time of greatest need. And so we want to thank you for doing that.
In that need, we heard reports that the Huntley Street gifts triggered relationships with people. And we were given documentation that said 10,185 people made decisions to follow Jesus. What happens there?
See, when they see love in action, people who are in that kind of desperate situation, people who are survivors of like an atomic bomb explosion, people who are in need, helpless, when they see love being being extended to them by providing food, by providing clothing, by providing shelter, and then helping them not only to survive, but later on be rehabilitated, and shelter and housing, temporary housing is provided, then they say, why do you do this? We say we do this because of our love for Jesus, because of our commitment to honor Him. Then they said, we want to know that Jesus.
And the remarkable growth of the church, I can only conclude with Philip Yancey, who says, God goes where He is wanted.
Yes.
People want Him.
Again, crisis gives us an opportunity to minister, and people who are in the time of crisis are most open and are hungry and are needy. We do not take advantage in terms of being opportunistic, but being able to say, from our heart, from the heart of God, we want to be able to bless, and we want to be able to share concretely the love of God in that particular need. And when people see that they are being cared for, that they are being loved, then they say, we want to know the God that you serve.
Bishop Tendero, thank you. You're a very busy man. We caught him in between travels globally, really. You argue for freedom for persecuted Christians in Sudan, in Syria, wherever trouble may take people. You are there to try to navigate a better place for the Christian story. Thank you so much for your service.
Well, thank you so much also, because you become the vehicle of conveying this message, conveying this good news. And we would like to thank you also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more of 100 Huntley Street after this.